welcome back to another episode of the Bros in the Berg podcast. I'm your main handsome host, Ryan Doyle, accompanied by Robbie Bergstone and our executive producer, Connor Doyle. Today is June 12th. We've been back after a little siesta of getting moved around. Both Robbie and I have been doing some moving. Connor's been doing absolutely nothing, enjoying his summer break. But we're here, ready to get on our at least once a week schedule, maybe two if we're feeling frisky. And that's what we got. Sorry, my opening's
where did the two come from?
Also, I want to know, what do you think of recording twice a week when you're on night shift?
That's a good point.
I'm built different. I'll wake up. I'll do like sleep 4 hours.
I'll do it during work.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm working from home too. I can just start recording during work.
Yeah, there you go.
You're just gonna be drunk.
I'm not going to be drunk during work. Only on
you are going to be drunk on Friday at lunch.
Probably not. That doesn't sound like something I would do. I've actually never been drunk before 7 p.m. in my life.
I feel like that's cap.
No, that tracks.
That tracks for sure.
I seem to remember a story involving a class or a lab or something that may have happened before 7 p.m.
I don't know if we need to tell that story on the pod.
You don't have to tell that.
Our mothers have already learned way too much about Ryan and I's college experience from this that I don't know if we need to go into that story.
Yeah.
My parents know that story. Did I tell them that story?
I don't think you did, but
that is a classic one.
It is funny. That one is very funny.
Wait, is there not a vitamin shop in Auburn? Sorry, I was not really ADHD.
What in the world?
Like, come on, dog. What are we doing?
Well, anyways, thank you guys for listening to this first 180 seconds of this intro, and whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify and or wherever else you get your podcast, aka Google Podcast.
What was that one episode, Connor, that went really badly that your parents made fun of? Because I feel like we're already on track for that again.
It was episode 9 because I remember episode 10 was like our best episode ever because it was the one right after. So that was episode 9, the one that was really bad.
Well, welcome back to episode 9, part 2, everyone.
Hey, we have an outline this time, though. We actually
we do. We have a list.
We do have an outline.
Robbie, do you want to start our outline? What's the first thing on that list?
You think I have that list pulled up right now?
The first thing on that list, Connor, is the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, look at my co-host coming in prepared.
Dude. Absolutely, I got it memorized. I swear to God, every single word on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're getting into the NBA playoffs. What do we got? Game 5 going back to Golden State. When is that? When is that?
Tomorrow night, Monday night, the 13th.
Yep. Okay, excellent.
Game 4. I think you could argue an all-time finals performance from Mr. Stephen Curry with 43 points.
Stephen Wardell Curry.
Yeah.
I literally think that's his. Yes,
is it Wardell?
It's his first name.
Hey, that's a top 5 playoff game all time for Steph.
Oh, I thought you were going to say all time, like all time.
No, not all time. I mean, it was a hell of a game.
It might be his best performance in the playoffs ever.
It's one of them, yeah.
It was the second most points he scored. Was it the most he's ever scored in a finals game?
Second most.
Second most, okay.
The most he's ever scored, I believe, was 47 in a game against the Raptors.
Okay.
Because, I'm built different. I know that.
Yeah, you know that. You know those. That was 2019.
So Steph obviously had a great game, but the real MVP was Draymond Green's butt on the bench.
Yeah,
was what actually won the Warriors that game.
I really did enjoy Van Gundy and the other
I hate that dude.
Anchor. I forget who the other guy's name is. Talking about how difficult of a decision that must have been for Kerr to kind of put a player that, I mean, obviously he's not been playing up to his potential, right? Like everyone knows
scoring wise, yeah.
He is the emotional leader, and I mean, his passing, his defense is still definitely playable. He is
more than playable.
He's a liability on the offensive end.
Yeah, when Draymond is on the floor and you're playing offense 4-on-5.
Yeah.
Like he can pass the ball, but if he's not going to shoot it, then they're going to stop playing defense on him, and then him passing the ball is completely worthless.
100%. Yeah. I remember in the series in the Mavs, they would leave him open at the top of the key. I mean, shoot the 3. The Mavs like, if you make that 3, we will give that to you all day long.
And right, I don't remember if it was you or who I was talking to about it. Remember that game in one of the finals where Draymond hit like 5 threes from the top of the key. It was like that game 7.
No, I was literally just about to say this.
Off.
It was the 20. I saw this on TikTok the other day because it just like amazed me because in game 7 of the 2016 finals, the one that LeBron actually made the comeback in game 7, Draymond had 32 points. He was 11 for 15, 6 for 8 from 3.
They were all from the top of the key. Every single one was just him pulling from the top of the key.
Bro, he had 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 steals in that game too. Like that's the best game of his career. And like, but how did he forget how to shoot the ball? How did that happen?
I don't care if it's Draymond Green's best game versus an average day at the office for Steph. I'm letting Green pull that ball over Steph or Clay anytime. Even though Clay's been a brick this playoffs. Like, but
wait, what? Like, you're letting Green pull the wide open jumper? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like even if he's having the game of his life, I'm letting him pull a wide open.
Oh,
jumper,
I see what you're saying. Sorry,
compared to like Steph or like even Clay, even though Clay's been terrible.
Yeah, Clay has been a brick. I mean, it's a carry job. Like Steph is putting this team on, and this is, and I would argue this is the first time. Okay, maybe apart from 2019 because there were a lot of injuries. Clay and KD both got injured in the Raptors finals game, but this is the first time that Steph has had these guys and has legitimately had to carry them. Like because
give some respect to Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is playing very good. 17 and 15 in game 4.
The rebounds
he
were
is
insane.
controlling the boards. Controlling.
That was his career high in rebounds. And let's not forget, Stephen Curry is 34 years old now. I think people are forgetting that he is, he's obviously, by the way he's playing, he still looks to be in his prime, but age-wise, he's on the outside of his prime. So it's amazing to see him. His conditioning is incredible. He can run forever. I think
we brought this up before, but Steph is only like 3 years younger than LeBron, which I think people forget because you think of Steph as being much younger because he's not been in the league nearly as long.
He's the same age as Mike Conley. Like that's weird.
Yeah. and he's doing this against arguably the I don't know, at least top 5 best defense in the NBA, if not top 3.
Yeah,
I think they were statistically the best defense in the NBA this year.
I just don't want to call them that, but I think they are long and athletic and just a hell of a team overall. That's the reason they're in the finals, and Steph is still dropping 40 points on them.
The thing is, though, if Jason Tatum shows up at all in this series, I think the Celtics win.
Probably.
But Tatum has not showed up yet, and that's what's allowing the Warriors to stay in the series because I think the Celtics are a much better basketball team, especially when Clay isn't playing up to his potential and Draymond's not playing up to his potential. But you have to have your best player play his best games, and Tatum has not done that yet in this series.
But now we got a guaranteed Game 6 Clay, and that's actually a real thing because every time a Game 6 comes around, he legitimately comes out of. It's disgusting how good he becomes out of just nowhere.
Rob, can we get some? I would really interested to see if the line on Clay's points change from like Game 5 to Game 6.
It will.
I don't know if I can look at the futures for Game 6 points.
Just genuinely curious to see like how much they would move that.
We'll keep an eye on it. We'll put out a Insta post on the difference between Game 5 and 6. How about that?
Yes, sir.
That sounds cool.
I mean, and to be completely forthright with what my prediction before the series started, I said that Golden State in 6 before it started. And to be completely honest, I've been underestimating the Boston the entire playoffs. I thought they were going to lose to the Heat, which, in all fairness, they might have injuries. Same thing with the Bucks. I think if Middleton was with the Bucks, I think they'd be in the finals. I think the Bucks would be in the finals. But go ahead.
Random tangent. So I was logging into FanDuel to see what Clay's points were for Game 5. They have my NBA year in review of gambling. If you guys like to run through that real quick. I
would love to listen to that more than anything else on this podcast.
So my MVP for gambling this year was Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
I like to bet on Giannis over points because I always set it way too low. So that's probably why. I was awarded $496 of bonus during the NBA season.
You had to gamble a lot.
Don't know what you're talking about. Biggest first basket scorer win was plus 310. I think that was probably Giannis at plus 310.
Yeah.
My favorite market type is to score X points, which that definitely tracks.
Yeah.
I hit 8 bets, and my biggest one was $98.
There it is.
Nice.
And my best same game parlay win was $88 at plus 875.
Wait, what'd you win the Super Bowl bet on?
This is just my NBA season in review.
Oh, I thought it was the whole thing.
Yeah, no, just my NBA season.
Nice.
Kind of hot.
Anyways, That is my year in review.
Yeah,
Well,
It's
thank you
pretty
for
solid.
taking us through that.
that is
Yeah,
very
of
good.
course.
But like I said, my prediction was originally Golden State in 6. I really don't have any idea where it's going to go. Like I said, it legitimately depends on Clay. Depends on if Steph is able to keep this up. Like Robbie said, if Tatum gets involved, I mean, Boston puts himself in a really good position to win a championship. But Tatum's just and he was hitting shots last game, but it was just Steph was too much. I mean, if Tatum and Brown both get involved, then I agree. I think Boston has a really good chance. And then like, did Al Horford and Derek White just like they refused to shoot the ball after game 1? Like they just dropped all their points in game 1 and just don't shoot anymore? Like why isn't Horford shooting more?
Al Horford had his career game and then decided that's enough.
Yeah, he just won't shoot the 3 anymore. He's been open and he's just like not shooting it. I'm like, why? Like you had 6 in game 1.
That has to be like a coaching thing. I feel like that they told him to not take the shots, but I
but
don't know why
why?
you do that when he made 6 of them in game 1.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't know, but yeah, I saw that report about Kerr's or Draymond's comments on getting benched. He said he was frustrated, but obviously he completely understands. I mean, you have to roll with the hot lineup. The hot lineup being Steph Curry and in Andrew Wiggins sometimes. And
Draymond knows that he's not playing well. Like Draymond's not stupid. Like he said it in one of his press conferences. Like I have to play better. Like I'm not playing up to my standards.
Did you see the tweet that his mom put out?
No.
It was so out of pocket. I was like, oh, everyone was in her. Ryan, I don't know if you saw this, but everyone was in her comments being like, "Oh, what happened to Draymond or whatever?" And she's like, "I don't know. I've never seen this before." She's like roasting her own son. I was like, "Oh my lord!"
She was like, "Maybe he got cloned. Like it's not actually Draymond."
That's
like,
actually wild.
That's really out of pocket. But anyways, I think we could kind of. Or do you guys have predictions? What do you guys think? You think Celtics are going to come out on top, Warriors, or what was your thoughts before the series too? Because we didn't talk about it.
I think this is going to be Steph's legacy series. Like this is going to be the one that cements Steph as one of the greatest. I think the Warriors win in 7 games.
Yeah.
I think Steph. I think they take Game 5, go back to Boston, lose Game 6. And I think Steph puts on all-time performance in Game 7.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the same thought process. They've gone 1-1 in their home and away series. Now it's 1-1-1, right? Is it 1-1-1? Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think all home games are won by the home team. I kind of agree with Robbie. It's like you said, the Celtics are more talented, but there's just something. It just seems like the Warriors are here back again, and the Celtics will definitely have another shot at it. I would be shocked if they don't win it in the next 2 or 3 years. But I think this might be the Warriors' last one.
I think so.
Let me throw that out there. I think this might be the Warriors might win this last one. Real quick question before we move on to the NHL. What do you think the Warriors, if they had to take the Celtics route, would have been in the finals?
That's what I was about to say. I think the Warriors, we were talking about this being the Warriors' last run. I think a lot of things went right for the Warriors to get to this point.
I agree.
Especially like the Suns not being fully healthy and the Mavs upsetting the Suns. And the Mavs just not being an overly good matchup for them in the Western Conference Finals. Like I think a lot of things went the Warriors' way that I don't think there's any way. The Warriors, I think they beat the Nets. I don't know if they beat the Bucks or the Heat in a 7-game series. I mean, I guess I'm saying that as I think they're going to beat the team that beat those teams, but I think it would be tough for them to win both of those back to back.
I would agree, sir. 100% agree.
I also don't know if this is the Golden State. I understand what you guys are saying about like this is probably Golden State's last one in terms of the Steph, Clay, and Draymond. But like look at their young players. Look, they're breeding like that young group so well because they have Steph, Clay, and Draymond for 3 to 4 more years, and they're probably going to be obviously out of their primes or whatever. But you got Gary Payton, you got Wiseman, you have Kuminga, and then you have Moses Moody. Like those 4 guys.
100%. I 100% agree with that. But I'm just saying, like the Warriors with those 3, as their front runners. This is their last shot.
I don't know though, because I'm curious how Clay does having a full offseason being healthy. Because let's not forget, Clay hasn't been healthy in an offseason in 3 years. Like if Clay, barring anything going wrong in the next 3 games, like if he has a whole offseason to get healthy, like can he get back to being Klay Thompson?
I think there's a definite shot. I mean, he has looked just a little bit slow.
Yeah.
Right. He's not been as much of the elite defender as he was, and obviously, like his shot has not looked good. So I think there's a really real possibility of him coming back and having another good season. But again, there's father time is there for all three of those dudes. And obviously Draymond's offensive game has fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, and back-to-back leg injuries. Like I don't know if Clay will ever have the step that he once had.
Sure.
Like, I don't think the body can recover that quickly, but maybe.
And to kind of segue into something, we'll get into the Stanley Cup and the NHL playoffs in a second, but just a real quick comment in the NBA that Ryan and I saw on Instagram. So apparently Anthony Davis went on record saying that he has not shot a ball since April 5th. That's just got to be so discouraging to the Lakers organization that this dude who keeps getting hurt just has no motivation to get back on the court.
I don't know that that's necessarily. I saw the same quote and kind of the first thought the same thing. But like there have been off season where like LeBron has said similar things too. It's like, why I haven't touched a basketball in 2 months. I think at some point, like these guys know how to shoot. Like I think you need to take a break and then come back. I don't know. Like I mean, just because he's not shooting a basketball doesn't mean he's not rehabbing or doesn't mean he's not in the weight room doing stuff. But I saw the same thing, and it definitely is concerning. But you hope that he's been doing something outside of just shooting. He's been doing something to better himself, hopefully.
Well, that could obviously be.
I have no idea though.
that could be a quote taken out of context, definitely. But it does raise concerns. I think in the Lakers front office, like, if I'm being completely honest, I think if you're the Lakers front office, I think you have to legitimately shop every player, and I'm also am including LeBron in that. I think you have to consider shopping every single player.
You can't shop LeBron James. You just can't.
But like they obviously can't win with it.
He brings in so much to that organ. I mean, it's the Lakers and the best active player of all time, right? Like you don't trade that man. Everybody else, sure, yeah, but
I would be shocked if the Lakers don't have Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James again next year.
Yes,
I would be very surprised.
No one's going to take that contract.
Westbrook's going to pick up his player option. Yeah, there's no.
Yes,
it's like $47 million. It's like there's no shot.
Him and John Wall are both picking up their options.
Yeah. And they already have Devin Ham, new head coach of the Lakers, talking up Westbrook, saying he's one of the best players of this generation and stuff like that. Like it seems like they're setting up to hopefully they want to mend that bridge with Russ and then see if maybe they can figure out something a little better on the offensive end for the three of them.
How can you mend the bridge with Russ when all he does is just throw bricks at it?
I mean, I'm sure as you're hiring a coach, right, you have to hire someone that you think can actually like get to Russ. Which I mean, I don't know if there's been a single coach yet that's been able to get to Russ. But you have to. I mean, I hope that was part of the Lakers' process. Like, if you're keeping this guy, you have to find someone that he'll actually maybe listen to like 1 out of every 10 times. Because I don't think he'll listen to Vogel at all. I can't.
What's hysterical is Russ is younger than Steph.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's insane.
Like he's 33. Yeah. He still should have a couple years left. Even though you see those traditionally a lot of the more explosive guys, like when their prime ends, like it ends. One guy excluding like Vince Carter, right? He's like the only dude to ever have, got into his 40s still playing ball after, how much stress and stuff he put on his knees. But I mean, you would think Russ has like a couple more years in the tank.
Don't forget that Russ and Kevin Love played together at UCLA too. That always throws me for a loop because I always think of Kevin Love as being way older than Russ.
You're like, how is that old head still in the league?
Hey, don't disrespect Kevin Love.
No, he's a hooper.
He is a hooper.
He's 6th man of the year finalist.
Because he was good. He was great off the bench.
Kevin Love, Hall of Fame, question mark?
Yes.
Ooh, you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
That was an instant yes from Connor and on the fence.
I'm not saying he's a first ballot, but
I could see it, but I'm not sure. I'm convinced that he will get in. But I could definitely. I wouldn't be upset if he did.
How many ships does he have? One championship? 2?
Yeah.
One. Yeah, just one.
2016.
Quick side note too. We did pretty good on our All NBA picks too.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah, we were pretty close.
We got a little screwed up because they do still do a center as a position, so Embiid and Jokic could both be on the first team.
Okay, yeah.
So we got a little screwed up there, but everything else, like we were pretty good. I think our only complete miss was like Siakam on the third team, but he wasn't even in our tier list.
He wasn't even in the he wasn't even in the list.
And Chris Paul too.
When we were making the tier list, we mentioned Siakam.
I think
we did. Yeah, we did. So props to us. We did a pretty good job.
Yeah. To move on from basketball, now we're going to get into the Stanley Cup finally solidified. It is the Colorado Avalanche versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is back-to-back for the Lightning, right?
It would be their third in a row.
Back-to-back, excuse me. Yeah. What are your guys' thoughts on this series, the preview of this series? What are you thinking?
Love playoff hockey. Absolutely. Great time to watch. The Avs have just steamrolled through the West. The Lightning have had to fight a little bit more. So the Avs are going to be real fresh coming into game one.
A little rusty, though.
A little rusty, for sure.
They've had 9 days off, I think. So, I mean, they're going to be a little rusty.
Significant,
that's a lot. That's very significant. It's going to be, can the Lightning keep up with the Avs? The Avs are going to score, like, no matter what. There's not been a team in the league that can stop them from scoring.
The Lightning do have a large goalie advantage. They have Vasilevsky, who's one of the best goalies in the league. And actually, I don't know if y'all saw his stat in like closeout games, but he's like 10-0 and allows like 0.12 goals a game or something absolutely ridiculous like that.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
They were talking about it during the last game. I mean, Rangers and Lightning were tied 2-2, and the Lightning won 2 in a row. They honestly had no business winning either of those games. The Rangers had so many looks and so many opportunities to win both of those games and just didn't do it. But that being said, I think the Lightning match up a lot better with the Avs than the Rangers would have, because the Lightning can actually score. I think the Rangers would have been struggling. I mean, they had Shesterkin. They probably would have gotten some stops, but the Avs are going to score. They're going to get the puck in the back of the neck. You have to be able to keep up and score with them, and I don't think the Rangers could have done that. The Lightning can, but I'm still not sure they have enough to keep up with the Avs.
Yep. Puck drops for this series on the 15th. First game is in Denver with the Avs at a -160 on the line and over-under of 6. I'd be tempted to kind of take the over on that, but we'll see when it gets a little closer.
I had the same thoughts. I think we should take the under.
Okay, good, because we're really bad at betting.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it'll be a good series. I think the Avs win in 6. I think, like Ryan talked about, I think there's too much firepower there. The Lightning obviously have the experience. They're going to be ready. They're going to be prepared. But I think the Avs are going to be a little bit too much for them in this series.
Gentlemen sweep.
I think Avs in 7.
Avs in 5.
Avs in 7.
Avs in 5.
Gentlemen. So locking the Lightning winning, because we all picked the Avs. That actually means the Lightning will win.
Lightning game 1, and it's a sweep.
Avs in 7, and every game is won by the home team.
Okay.
Lock it in.
Tampa Bay wins game 1, sweep the rest of the way.
Damn, that's crazy.
All 4 in a row.
I think it goes exactly like these conference finals. I think it gets to 2-2 with everyone winning the home games, and the Avs win 2 in a row to close it out.
I like the take. I like the takes. You have anything else to add on that? No, we're so good.
We're so good.
Absolutely lovely podcast.
Next thing to talk about is the College World Series, both men and women's. However, the women's has completed with, no surprise, the clear favorite, the Oklahoma Sooners. College softball team sweeping Texas, having in back-to-back titles and 6 under their current head coach. This team is just unbelievable. So some of the statistics from this year were just outrageous. It was like they only had 2, other than the playoffs, they only had like 2 games that weren't shutout wins. It was some of the most ridiculous. It's like UConn women's basketball for how how dominant they were. It's the same thing. It's just incredible.
Ran through the College World Series too. Like when they got to Oklahoma City, like they just ran through everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was absurd performance.
I was reading, and I mean they are really. There's a couple teams like UCLA and I believe Arizona that they were comparing them to in the mid 2000s and like early mid 90s. That like this team is at minimum top 3 all time. Like this dynasty is also top 3 all time. I think they led the lowest ERA, the most runs scored, the most hits ever like in a season. And I mean, like you said, they were just the clear favorite, the clear best team in women's softball. It was pretty incredible run. On the flip side, with baseball, we see the number 1 overall seed going down in a shocking series to Notre Dame. Go Fighting Irish! That make their third appearance in the College World Series ever.
Tennessee threw mustard on the field again.
Yep.
You guys got to be happy about that Tennessee loss.
Classic balls, yeah. Bunch of sore losers, man.
Yeah, they're not too great.
Losers.
Great baseball programs and just can't get it done when it counts.
Yep.
Neither can Oklahoma State, so I hate Oklahoma State now. They're the men's got just absolutely.
It wasn't a good look.
No.
What's even worse? They lost to Arkansas though, didn't they? Arkansas are pretty under. Like Arkansas should have been a national seed, but. Like
Arkansas wasn't as bad as the 2 games before where we gave up a combined almost 40 plus runs. Like, okay, we scored more than like 50, but we also gave up in 2 games like 40 plus runs.
What school was that? Was that like Missouri State?
It was
29.
Yeah, but they still scored like 15 or 7. It was ridiculous. I was like, where is the defense? And then then the men's obviously lost, and then the same day at the same time the women's were winning, and then they ended up losing and got kicked out on the same night within like the same hour of each other. And that was really,
to be sure.
Go Pokes.
Go Pokes.
Yeah, that was quite depressing. I guess, we had a good season, boys, but obviously not able to get it done. Also, shout out to Ryan and I High School, Carroll High School. They just won the state championship, so shout out to them.
They won it again?
Again, yeah. Their baseball program is quite good. They won it again, so congratulations to those guys.
Dragon baseball alumni right here.
Yeah, look at that dude. Look at this dude.
Heck yeah.
Do you guys have anything else on the College World Series or college baseball in general?
Alabama did make the Super Regional in softball for the first time in like 12 years or something like that.
Wow. That was really surprising.
Tough season for the Crimson Tide.
And baseball, because of that, that's why Montana Fouts is coming back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So she's like going to lead us to definitely at least the Super Regionals.
Alabama baseball tried to make a run in the SEC tournament and tried to get themselves into the NCAA tournament, but didn't quite happen. But they won like 2 games, I think.
We had a better season than people thought.
Yeah,
like, we've been at the basement of the SEC for a long time, and I thought we played decently well.
We didn't make the SEC tournament our senior year that we were there. We did not even. We were one of the bottom 2 teams the first 3 years that we went to school there. So
we're bad at baseball.
You can't have everything, boys.
I know. I think they're turning the corner. I think the coach they have is really good and is doing a good job of recruiting and developing. So I think going forward they'll be a little more competitive. But it was sad to see because they made it last year, and then they, like I said, they were probably one of the first 4 teams out this year.
Yeah. Shifting over to the NFL real quick, there have been some updates on the Deshaun Watson allegations and case, which makes him look way more guilty than he had originally, which he already had. It wasn't a great look considering some of the people that he hired and some of the people that he was surrounding himself with, but some of the reports that have come out, he hired an absurd amount of women for massages in 77 weeks or something like that. It was something like a year and a half. Hired a lot of women to get massages, and obviously that was probably not what was happening. I don't want to speculate or anything, but it doesn't look good.
What we're doing here on the podcast.
Outside of whatever he was doing, if you're the Cleveland Browns, what in actual hell are you doing?
Did they not know?
Diligence? They did due diligence. That's what they did. Like, what in the world?
I get it.
Are you doing? Because obviously they investigated this, right? So they had to say, there's no way that anyone will ever think that like Deshaun Watson did these things if we're going to give them all this guaranteed money. Or I guess they didn't think anyone would care.
I don't know.
I just don't get it. I mean, it's just an absolute fumble by the Browns front office again.
A move like that can set a franchise back, a decade? Like that. That is absolutely insane. And I cannot believe, like you said, I cannot believe that this has happened. Honestly,
and you still have Baker Mayfield. Like, yes, I get Baker is probably never going to be like a top 5 quarterback in the league. But like, I do think Baker Mayfield is talented enough to get you to a Super Bowl.
Ooh,
there's a take.
There's the take.
Jared Goff took a team to the Super Bowl.
That's fair.
Jimmy G took a team to the Super Bowl.
Stop hating on Jimmy G.
Jimmy G had a phenomenal defense.
Jimmy G was like, yeah, that's true.
But Baker Mayfield, this year, obviously not his best year, but he was very hurt. And the year before, he was a very solid quarterback.
Yep.
I don't know. The Browns front office is an absolute dumpster fire.
Mind-boggling. Yeah, mind-boggling.
So is there any? So he was cleared of all criminal charges.
Criminal. He was cleared of all criminal.
And he settled in civil court.
So can there be more appeals, or is what is the legal situation of that? Is he still not reinstated by the NFL? Do we have any idea on that?
They haven't made a decision yet.
They haven't made a decision, but I also think they settled the first batch of civil cases, but there's been 2 more brought against him in the last couple weeks. It also sounds like that the Texans might have known what was going on, or at least somewhat.
I would not be shocked.
There was a report that the Texans actually provided him with NDAs to give to these masseuses when he went to visit them.
I heard about that. That was awful.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so the Texans might also be.
That's like new owner bad situation.
Yeah.
Speaking of new owners, we should kick out Dan Snyder. And speaking of the Washington football team,
this guy's transitions are nuts.
Fantastic.
They're the Commanders now, not the football team.
Excuse me, the $100K fine handed down to D coordinator, was it Riverboat Ron or who? No, it was
Del Rio got the fine.
Riverboat
Ron brought down the fine, but Del Rio was the one that got fined.
Del Rio for the $100,000 fine to the defensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, and then subsequently deleted his Twitter for making.
That's a good decision.
Yeah. I mean,
he's gonna pull a KD and just make a bunch of burner Twitter accounts and just be like talking all this shit online.
Bro, KD on Instagram needs to chill. He needs to relax. Like,
what happens when you get swept in the first rounds? You have a lot of fucking time on your hands.
My guy's in Cancun in a hammock with nothing to do but get on Instagram and talk shit. That is exactly what's going on.
It was I texted Ryan this. It was like someone made a comment about Shaq in the post or whatever, like back in the day. It was like a Shaq one-on-one or whatever. And like KD said something like, yeah, but Mans wouldn't be able to move his hips. Pause. He said it was like what?
Paused himself?
He paused himself in an Instagram comment. Everyone was like, "What?" Everyone was replying to him, like, "What are you talking about?"
His phone away.
Back to the Commanders quickly, though. So you remember last episode we talked about that they bought land in Virginia for a new stadium.
Yeah.
You see, their governor of Virginia is actively trying to block them from building the stadium on the land that they bought.
Oh,
that's a Washington Commanders type situation.
They're like bringing legislation out so that the Commanders can't build their stadium in Virginia.
My lord!
Great football season, a phenomenal, exciting off season, a good draft, and just a shit show. Like all of this stuff coming out.
Bro, the Texans, Browns, and the Jets, but the Texans, Browns, Jets, and Commanders are in the trenches.
Talk about shitters. They just keep and
it's not just the players, it's the entire organization is crumbling.
Shout out Rachel, who's the
she's a
family friend cheerleader of the Texans, is just loving that situation, I'm sure.
Got a great team to cheer for this year.
Yeah,
exactly.
Our guy Davis Mills.
Cheering for all of the hundreds of fans that'll be going to Texans games.
At least Watson's out of there, I guess. I mean, Brandon Cooks is coming back, right?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, there's one player. There's one player.
Their defense is still going to be abysmal. Their defense was so bad.
Wait, they drafted Stingley, right?
Yeah, and?
Well, I mean, he's going to be better.
Stingley can't be in coverage for 10 minutes because that's how long the quarterback's going to have back there.
They'll just throw, to the other side of the field.
Imagine they actually time how long the quarterbacks have in the pocket whenever the Texans are pass rushing.
The other side of the field might as well be a cardboard cutout across the field from Stingley, so it's not really going to matter, to be honest.
He's just chasing around receivers. To stay with the NFL a little bit, Tyreek Hill had his first episode of his podcast. I'm not sure what it's called, but don't listen to it. Listen to us instead. But Tyreek Hill said in his first podcast that the reason why he left the Chiefs was that he felt like he was, quote, underutilized and, quote, not fully appreciated. And also he had some issues with the guaranteed money, which obviously Miami was completely willing and able to hand out to him. But I didn't take surprise from that fact. I took more of the surprise from the fact that he felt that he was being underutilized. I thought that was a strange choice of. He said that and from some of his comments, it didn't seem like he had the best relationship with Reed, and even there seemed to be some rocky situations with Mahomes at point. So what do you guys take away from that?
Receiver diva? I don't know, man.
Yeah, exactly.
He literally said that he's like, I'm not trying to be a diva. Brown. Yeah, he said
it's a PG version of Antonio Brown. He was difficult at OK State. He was difficult at all the other schools he played at. Right, he got kicked out of OK State after that whole domestic violence situation. Yeah. So I'm not shocked by that. He's been a top 5 receiver stats wise for at least the last 3 years in the NFL. Yeah. I don't want to hear that. And sure, the Chiefs weren't ready to pony up that guaranteed money. That's a very valid concern. Go play in South Beach.
But also I like the underutilized thing. Travis Kelce is getting older. The longer he stayed with the Chiefs, the more he was going to see, because Kelce is starting to get up there and is probably not going to be utilized quite as much going forward. Mm-hmm. But
stupid.
Yeah.
See, we start a podcast and all these other professional.
They start doing it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we were ahead of the curve.
We're way better than Draymond's podcast.
Yeah,
Draymond's podcast.
Well, because he's an idiot. But anyways,
Whoa. Nah.
Sorry.
But stick with someone who, or the NFL a little bit more. Hunter Renfro has agreed to an extension with the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, he's going to take a back seat now to Devontae Adams, but he truly, I think, had a breakout season last year. He was a great wide receiver for the Raiders, and I would argue he probably turned himself into the wide receiver, the first option on that team.
Well, when Ruggs got himself thrown out of the league and then Waller had all those injuries, Carr was like, who the fuck do I throw to? And Renfro's like, classic Wes Welker, sneaky little slot guy.
High motor.
I was talking to my friend that's a Clemson fan the other day, and he was like, I can't believe the Raiders have the best wide receiver in the league now. I'm like, oh yeah, Devontae Adams there. He's like, no. Hunter Renfro. I was like, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
That's like we wouldn't say some shit like that for a Bama.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was a complete
that's actually pretty
thing.
funny.
It was pretty funny.
No, Hunter Renfro.
He was on my fantasy.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
He helped me get me the victory.
He's very solid.
And then the last NFL headline, Seattle having some issues with contracts. DK Metcalf and Chris Carson are still yet to reach deals with Seattle. Obviously, after Russell Wilson leaving, Seattle's in a little bit of a scramble type situation. I'm actually surprised they haven't secured DK yet. And obviously, Carson has had a lot of injury issues the past few years, and people think that Rashad Penny's actually pretty decent and serviceable. So, what do you guys think of these two?
I mean, I feel like DK is not going to re-sign until they get a decent quarterback, right? I mean,
that's fair.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, is Drew Lock your
is this the guy?
franchise quarterback?
Drew Lock is what we call a stopgap.
Totally valid to not give Carson the deal. Yeah. I mean, we've seen in the NFL has changed the one guy running back systems, especially when dudes are getting older. It just doesn't work. So there's no reason for them to spend that money.
And Chris Carson was never like an elite running back. He's a very solid running back that God only needed to get done. But I think Rashad Penny can fill that role perfectly.
He was never a top 5 running back. I don't know if he ever sniffed top 5 running back.
I don't think he was even top 10.
Oh, come on.
I think there was seasons
he was like 10.
He was top 10.
Yeah, 9 or 10.
When he stayed healthy, he was top 10, but he never sniffed top 5.
Because he was such a good receiving back. Even if he wasn't that power back, he was one of the, I think he was one of the first guys in the league to really morph towards the receiving back role. Just because he was earlier. I don't know how old he is now, but I always forget that he went to Oklahoma State because he was there a while ago. But I remember him kind of evolving his game to be the catching running back. To move on from the NFL, according to Forbes, Tiger Woods, very recently, and LeBron James a few weeks ago, are recently 2 of the only 3 athlete billionaires in the world, the third one being Michael Jordan, but obviously Woods and LeBron both being active. They are the only active billionaires sports-wise ever. I think that's just a pretty cool tidbit. I mean, and not surprising at all, obviously, the success that these guys have enjoyed, and especially it's public knowledge how well LeBron has done with his investments and with his deals and stuff. I mean, just congratulations to these guys. Anything you guys want to say about it?
Tiger's incredible too, because we talked about this last week. That Tiger hasn't won a lot of golf tournaments recently. Yeah. So again, a lot of his investments and sponsorships and stuff. So I mean, very impressive on his end as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I heard rumors that Kobe's estate was also close to the 1 billion threshold because he made some investments when he was alive and posthumously. Is that the phrase after someone dies?
Posthumously.
Yeah. Pardon me. Is had really done well. So apparently his estate has also I don't know if that necessarily counts because RIP, but yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Those guys deserve it for how much money they brought to either sports or the franchises they played for and whatnot.
Yep. And one of LeBron's further comments was that this was on another interview of his. He says that he wants to own a team in Las Vegas. And I honestly, I think that there will be a team in Las Vegas at some point in the NBA. So I would not be surprised if LeBron, at the end of his career, front ended that. What do you guys think about a team and a possible team in Las Vegas?
I think it'd be cool. I mean, I imagine they probably do 2 teams. They probably do Vegas and probably bring a team back to Seattle.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Vegas and Seattle.
They'd probably go to 32 and do that. I don't think Silver said it's not happening anytime soon. He said the conversations are happening, that it probably will happen in the foreseeable future, but that it's not anywhere near on the horizon, which I think leads again to itself that LeBron will probably own that team in Vegas once he retires.
It's so interesting because it's really perfect the way it's set up of four teams per division of like 8 divisions. So like kind of, I don't know how the NBA or NFL would, or the NBA. Excuse me. Wait.
NBA.
I just had a stroke. There's 30 teams in the NBA, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
And there's 32 in the NFL.
There are 6
Please
divisions.
be patient.
There are 6 divisions of 5 in the NBA, I believe.
That's correct.
I just had it. Yeah. Okay. Please move on. Please move on.
Ryan's not doing okay.
You tried, and that's what matters.
Hunger.
Ryan, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
That
wasn't ideal.
Didn't get any of it right. Not a single part of it right.
Please cut that out.
No.
Not a chance.
Robbie, would you like to take over the golf section? Obviously, you have more knowledge about it than I do, so go ahead.
Yeah. So the U.S. Open is coming up next week. Tiger Woods will not be participating. He said his body needs more time to heal, but he's hopeful that he'll be able to play in the Open, which I think is next month. Going into this tournament, there's a lot of drama surrounding the LIV Tour and all of that, which we'll get to here in a second. But we talked about it last week, the PGA Championship. Rory Mcelroy is hot right now. And he went off for a final round 62 today to win the RBC Canadian Open. I think he'll be the hands-on favorite going in. I think there's a good reason to think that he will win the tournament, but I'm curious to see who else kind of steps up and plays and how those guys that are now suspended from the PGA Tour will play in the tournament as well. Anyone else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I saw DeChambeau signed with the LIV Tour as well. And I think it was before DeChambeau and a couple of other guys that I didn't really recognize. There was like 17 golfers that the PGA said like you're not allowed to come back. I thought it was some really inflammatory comments by like the PGA head. I understand.
Before we get into this, let's quickly explain what the LIV Tour is.
Yeah, you want to take that? You're probably a little better.
Yeah, so it's essentially going to be like there's a couple of years ago where they're going to do like the Super League in soccer in Europe, where they're going to get all the best teams and they're just going to play in this league, whatever. They're doing a similar thing for golf, where they're trying to recruit all these best players to play in this kind of superstar tournament essentially in Europe. It's all backed by the Saudis, which has led to a lot of golfers not being thrilled with it because there's obviously some human rights issues with Saudi Arabia and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But they are offering just ignorant amounts of money for these guys to play in this tournament. And they have it. And I was thinking about that today. It's like they're not really going to make that investment back. But I think part of it is just to like build up the name of Saudi Arabia, be like, look at this great golf league that we have. Because there's no way they're making this money back. The amount of money they're giving out. And like, I mean, you saw this weekend, like they had a tournament, but I don't know of anyone that actually paid attention to it. But so it's essentially this golf super league. The PGA Tour has suspended all the players that agreed to play in it because it's a breach of their contract with the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
But Brian, you can go ahead and keep going with the comments now that the commissioner of the PGA Tour made.
Yeah, they're just kind of aggressive. To be honest, like he just was he was really talking down to the golfers that decided to make that decision. And I mean, it's the guaranteed money. There's a good chance it's blood money, right? Like you got to get ethical conversations on that. But I don't blame some of these guys, and a lot of these guys are not the guys that have really won majors in like the last 10 years. These are dudes that are just like, hey man, I just want to get paid, and I just want to have my financial future set. And do I blame them? Only reason I blame them is taking money from Saudi Arabia, but like. I don't blame them for trying to support their families in their career. So it's kind of
it's been interesting too that the most vocal active player against it has been Rory Mcelroy. Rory's been adamant that he's like, I don't get why these guys are doing this. Like this is a decision they're making solely based on money. And in my experience, a decision based solely on money never works out very well. Like almost his exact comments. So clearly not happy with it. He also made a comment today after he won. So he passed Greg Norman for the most, he passed Greg Norman in the wins on the PGA Tour. He got his 21st win today. Greg Norman's at 20. And Greg Norman is one of the retired golfers that's really pushing this LIV Tour. Yeah. And McElroy made a comment. He's like, when I have more than that other guy. Clearly Rory is not pleased with what's going on. I think his big thing is that it probably is blood money and that, maybe shouldn't be taking it. But it's been interesting to see him be so vocal and adamant against it.
Sure.
It is kind of interesting because I know that in the past few years that WWE has been hosting one pay-per-view event in Saudi Arabia, and it's like one a year, and it's purely because of like money, and some of the performers like refuse to like do the shows because of the human rights issue. I just like that's just kind of interesting to me because obviously that's more of a niche, like WWE is more of a niche thing, but now that it's expanding to more of the major sports, it's like the Saudi Arabia money, like it's a little like it's getting more high profile. Yeah.
Surprised the NFL hasn't done it yet. Seems like something right up Goodell's alley.
Speaking of blood-sucking leeches, yeah.
Wow. Yikes. Yeah. But I guess we can move on from that. Robbie, do you have a song of the week for us by any chance?
I saw it on the list, and I was like, man, I really need to have a song of the week right now.
You really did. Yeah. And you just...
Kid Cudi came out with a new song this week.
Okay.
Called Do What I Want. It's prep for his new album, which is coming out, I think, next month.
Mm-hmm.
Very vintage Cudi sounding. I was pleased with it. I think the album's going to be good. I think his last album was great. Man on the Moon 3. So go check that out if you're a Kid Cudi fan. Even if you're an older Kid Cudi fan where you like his earlier career stuff, I think he's headed back towards that a little bit. So
there we go.
Go check it out.
Robbie, did you see the new Top Gun movie?
I did.
Did you? What did you think of it?
I thought it was. What'd you say?
A lot of guns.
Ignore him.
A lot of guns.
Anyway.
The
danger zone.
Stolen boomers in the theater.
What'd you think of the movie, Robbie?
I thought it was good. So I actually never seen the first Top Gun before this week either. So I watched the first one Sunday. Yeah, Ryan's like, what is wrong with you? I watched the first one Sunday night. I want to see the new one Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a really good job of there are obviously references to the first one, but they didn't let that completely direct this movie. Like it had its very much so it's like its own storyline, its own things going on. There are enough references to the old one to kind of make the fans of the series happy. So I thought it was a very good movie.
Sorry, I just feel like I have to mention that. So at the bottom of my computer on my taskbar, there's usually a thing that's says the temperature and how hot it is or whatever. And currently, instead of saying the actual number, it says record high. And so that's a little concerning because earlier today, Robbie, you weren't in the call, but I told Ryan that it felt like 113 earlier. So that was kind of awful.
Sounds like some good yard work weather.
Yeah.
Yo.
Now my dad's been working all weekend. Legitimately, so, I got out of the yard.
It's 86 in Auburn.
I wish.
I bet it's even cooler than that up here.
But the reason I bring up the Top Gun thing is because I have a song of the week from Top Gun. It's by One Republic. It's called I Ain't Worried. It's the one with all the whistling and stuff. One Republic has had, and I've always been a fan of One Republic, but recently, some of One Republic's music has been some of the best they've ever put out. And I've been there's a song called Run that they put out recently, and this song is called I Ain't Worried. Some of the best One Republic music I've heard ever, and they've obviously had a lot of huge songs, a lot of bangers. So credit to One Republic for keeping it up after all these years.
Was this on the beach scene?
Yes, yeah.
It's jammy for sure.
I love that. I think that's a great song. So yeah, that's
Miles Teller said that he was 7% on the beach scene. It was awful. Yeah, 7% body fat for the whole thing.
Yeah,
couldn't be us, by the way.
Nah, we're on our way, King. We're on our way.
Yeah. But I don't think we mentioned it since Robbie. You obviously won the competition. Do you wanna mention that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I just smoked these jokers too easy. No, it was a fantastic showing by all of our friends. I think we ended up losing a combined 113 pounds in 5 months between the 5 of us.
Very nice.
So, yep, very fun competition. I think we all enjoyed it. I think a lot of us are continuing to try to lose weight afterwards.
Yeah.
Very proud of all of our friends, but I did take home the gold.
None of us really got down to our goal weights, even though Will and LaDon don't really have that much to lose. I 10 more pounds, maybe, if they were really feeling frisky.
Right. But they would start losing strength if they kept going.
Yeah. So Rob and I are heading around the high teens, low 20s to high 210s and low 220s right now. Hopefully I want to get down to 200 by Halloween. I think Robbie said Labor Day is feeling a little bit more aggressive with it, but it should be fun.
Very nice.
Should be fun.
Congratulations to you guys, and especially to you, Robbie, because you won.
How much should I pay you? What, it was like 60 something bucks?
Yeah, I want like 100. I want like $180 for winning the thing. So pretty solid.
Yes, sir.
I bought myself a new pair of running shoes. So
Okay.
Desperate need of new shoes.
yeah.
And the last thing for our tier list, and this may take up a little more time than usual, because this is kind of a fun topic. I am currently involved in a recreational basketball league, with a couple of my friends that are home for the summer. We have 7 players, and then we'll have 7 next month with one guy replacing another. But yeah, we had our second game this past weekend. We streamed them on Twitch. Right now, the June games are 1 p.m. on Saturday, so if you want to watch them, you are perfectly welcome to. They're on Twitch. I know Ryan caught all of it. Robbie said he caught some of it because he was moving at the same time. Ryan, what were your thoughts on game 2?
Dude, you guys came out with a lot of energy. The 3-ball was finally falling.
Yeah.
Y'all were playing some older dudes, probably like in their 30s or something, and their conditioning was not as good as y'all's, which was cool. They had one big dude.
He was massive.
He was huge.
Yeah.
He was like what, at least 6'5"? He looked to be like 300 pounds. I mean,
he wasn't 6'5". He was probably like 6'3".
He looks the same height as AB.
You think so? I thought he was shorter than AB.
I don't know.
Maybe 6'4" at most.
But he was hefty.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he was.
I got to tune in right when Connor got decked by like 3 dudes at once.
Bro, that hurts so bad.
So I did not
for a minute.
Because I hit my head
to see that.
No, I know.
Bro, no.
When was that, Connor? Because I never saw that. I think it might have been like one of the few times I was talking with the oh my god. With the dudes who were installing my washer at the same time.
I can't even remember. It was in the second half. It was in the second half.
I sent a text in the chat with Connor's friends like right after it happened.
Yeah.
Saying that I just watched Connor get shit on by the floor.
I remember the play because I watched it. I remember the play. I did a fake handoff to AB and I went down the left side and then I just these 3 grown men just like tackle me and
they
smack my head.
Sandwiched you. Yeah, they all 3 like sandwiched you.
No, I didn't get shots. It was on the floor. To be fair, I wasn't going up, but I just got hacked. I was like, "Good lord!"
Did you go to the bench afterwards, or what?
I stayed in for a couple more minutes, and then I subbed out.
I do think we have to mention.
It was in the second half.
That Connor threw up El Goose Egg this week.
That was hysterical.
We're trying to bully him into being better at basketball.
Yeah,
so be thrown out there.
I did in fact have 0 points in week 2. Quite frankly, an embarrassing performance, for being 100% honest, because I did fully track stats, and I can read them out to you guys if you want. So here, let's see. And Will, who's our friend, who's currently at camp, but he's going to be on the team next week. Will, after he saw my stats, he said Connor really out there doing cardio. So that was a little disrespectful.
But fair.
But from highest score to lowest score, the full stats for Carson Anderson, who was the leading scorer, who had a great game, 20 points, 0 assists, 11 rebounds, a steal, a block, and 2 turnovers. So that's just
mama mentality for sure from Carson there. No assists on 20 points. You love to see that.
There you go. Akash Kurapati was the second leading scorer. He had 17 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 0 turnovers. Just a solid, that's a very second scorer stat line, like second leading scorer stat line.
Bro, when did you get mauled? I can't find it in the video.
It was somewhere around 17 or 16 minutes in the second half, like with the second half left to go, something like that.
Oh, okay. Thank you for giving me the actual time, you monkey.
Well, I was like, I didn't know. I'm just guessing. And then our Swiss Army knife, Mr. Ahmad Varani, with 15 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, a steal, 0 blocks, and 4 turnovers. AB, who was our big center, he had 7 points, 2 assists, 14 rebounds, and 3 steals, 0 blocks, and 0 turnovers. Jeffrey had 6 points, 0 assists, 2 rebounds, 0 steals, 0 blocks, and 1 turnover. And me with 0 points, 4 assists, 1 rebound, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 0 turnovers. So, Draymond.
So if Ryan and I make a trip to Dallas for one of the games, can we play?
I don't think you're allowed to, but like I would. We could try, but I don't think you'd be allowed to. Unfortunately,
we have to sign up ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, we already did. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think those are closed by now. Yeah, I know.
That's all right.
Unfortunate.
Figures worth an ask. Quick weekend trip to Dallas for the rec game.
Yeah. So I was thinking that maybe this week we could have a little fun and we could maybe do an over/under bet for week 3 to see what we think. I mean, what Ryan? You still trying to find the damn
Bro? It was I'm scrubbing through this entire thing.
It was really close to the camera. It was on the corner, like where the camera was.
Yeah. I was on the left side of the lane. I did a fake handoff to AB, and then I drove and got hacked. Bro, this kid's gonna take forever to find this.
Yes,
he's gonna be stuck on this till the podcast is done.
Yep. Yeah, legitimately. Let's see. Oh, now I gotta help him find it. Hold on.
Oh goodness.
Bro, 66 views? That's nuts.
Damn, look at y'all go.
Bro, we're insane.
Man, they really let you just throw it to AB in the lane like that. That was wild.
Dude, that was the best assist ever.
And man was alone. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, you got it? Yeah.
You landed weird.
Yeah, he hit his head hard.
It didn't look like it too. Like when I rewatched it, I was like, "Where did I hit my head?" But then I had to either look closer, and you could see I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, because your arm got tucked under you. Like you landed on the ball, and your arm got tucked under it.
Yeah, I got sandwiched, bro. Those old heads giving me that work. But yeah, so I thought it would be kind of fun to maybe make a kind of no money on the line, but maybe a sort of parlay for our team for week 3. And what are you guys thinking? What do you guys think that I score it all, or
I think I got Connor over. I think Connor goes over 6.5 next game. I feel like he's due. I think he's due. I'm gonna give Connor 7 points.
I give Connor 10.
Nice. Look at us, hosts supporting hosts.
I had 10 in game 1, and then nothing in game 2.
Yes, I think your over under would be about 6.5, 7. I think you go over. I think you go over.
All right, I respect that. What do you think? Okay, so I think AB had what do you guys think about AB rebounds? He had 14. He had 14 in game 2, and I think he probably had around 10 in game 1.
All right, so over 10.
You think over? Yeah. Over 10.
I think Carson goes under 20 this game, though.
I feel like that's an easy bet. He's not going for 20, right?
What are these odds? These like minus 300 odds you're putting down, Rob.
I admittedly have not looked at the stats enough to have any idea what anyone did in either of the first 2 games. But
well, we didn't have game 1 stats, but yeah, from game 2 and then on, we'll have full stat sheets.
By the way, it was 14 and a half minutes into the game in the second half.
My apologies. I was guessing. I didn't know exactly.
You felt so weird. That's so funny. Anyways,
thanks, Ryan. So
you want an interesting fact of the day?
Of course.
Yeah.
Today I learned that the creator of the M1 Garand, right, which is one of the most used rifles in history, he never received any royalties for the design, and then an attempt to award him $100,000 by an act of Congress to essentially pay him for the design and services and the use of his property failed despite almost 6 million rifles being produced. He never saw a penny of that, and it was like, it is named after him. His name is John Garand. They never saw a penny of that rifle being
It's an important life lesson, kids. Always get a patent.
Also, the U.S. government sucks, and they're going to suck you for everything that you have. So
yeah, but you got to get that provisional patent in there. You don't even have to get the patent approved. You just have to get the provisional patent in, and
got to be in there.
Yeah,
100%. All right, and now we can move up to the last section. As always, we have a tier list. We are currently setting at an hour, so we could probably make this relatively quicker, but we can see the tier list for this week, ladies and gentlemen, is sports analysts. All right, we should be good to go. The first one, big man Adam Schefter.
Skip Bayless.
Yo, Shefty was good, and then he went up and said some of that shit about
dude. Ever since he did that and then promoted his podcast to apologize, I have no respect for Adam Schefter at all.
Yeah.
He
really kind of screwed himself.
He also wants to be like the Woj of the NFL, but he also reports stuff wrong a lot. He'll try to be the first one to the punch, and he's wrong.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is they don't really analyze the game. Does Shefty do a lot of analysis, or is he just report?
No, he's like Woj. He just reports stuff for the most part. They'll have him on NFL Live sometimes. Again, it's not really him analyzing anything. It's him just giving news that he hears. Yeah. So he's more of a reporter than he is an actual analyst. But again, ever since the Dwayne Haskins thing, I've not.
Not been a fan.
Needs to be taken down a peg.
Agreed.
Yep. Sorry. So yeah, next we have Chuck or Charles Barkley for those who don't know that nickname.
Dude,
The
it's
round
like
mound of rebounds.
he's an idiot, but like,
Yeah.
he's so funny. The entire TNT cast, if you take them individually and put them like on another show or however you want to do it, except maybe Ernie. Ernie can, I think, you can put wherever. But the three others, like, I don't know. If we just link them all together and he's like, just this cast is, I will shut up and listen to them.
Also, have you ever seen Shaq? Like whenever like they won't have the full crew on, and it'd be like Shaq with like Candace Parker and like D Wade. It's like Shaq doesn't say anything. Like Shaq is just there. Like he contributes nothing positive to the conversation. He just like is existing, and that's what Ryan's talking about. It's like if they're all together, they're great, but outside of that, like. Although Chuck, when they did the match, whenever he played in that the one like golf thing, so funny.
Yeah,
Chuck. I'm putting Chuck up there at the top.
Yeah,
I love listening to Chuck. Did you see the video of when Chuck was talking about how someone confused him for somebody else, and then Shaq was like talking about that as well, and I think Ernie's like, "Who the hell do they confuse you for?" And you hear Chuck off camera say Shrek. And they all start cackling, and then some guy in the production team, like really far away, is like belly laughing, and Shaq takes off his glasses. It's like looking for the dude who's making fun of him from across the room.
There's an SNL skit that's probably from like 10 years ago now. Because it's the same guys. They've been doing it for forever now. And it's like the same shit. It's like they're just like it's them roasting each other, and like the half of the skit is them talking about a go-kart racing thing that they did, and it's like the guy playing Charles and the guy playing Shaq like screaming at each other about go-karts, and like you're like, this is ridiculous. But also like, would you be that surprised?
No.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for them to actually fight on set.
Nah, they're too good of friends for that. I think at this point.
Yeah, I think so too. I can see them wrestling though. I can definitely see them wrestling.
Yeah, they have before. I'm pretty sure. I think they have.
Probably.
Next we have Colin Coward.
Head scratching takes to say the least, at minimum. I'm personally down to.
I'm okay with Kobe. I'm okay with Kobe dropping 81 on you.
No, I feel like that's got to be reserved for. I feel like that's
a special reserve.
That's
fine. Yeah, that's fine. I just don't. I don't think Colin is as bad as the other people we're going to put in the skip Bayless.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree. Doris Burke.
One more thing about Coward. I used to really like Colin Coward when he was on Sports Nation. When it was him and Michelle Beadle. That was actually a very solid show back in the day. But
he's an idiot. Anyways, his daughter's hot though.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it.
So is Michelle Beadle though.
Yeah. Okay. Doris Burke is legitimately qualified.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think she's like as funny as some of these other guys, but she is very good at her job, and the players all really enjoy her and all that.
She knows what she's talking about too.
Yes, 100%.
Next we have Ernie Johnson.
I'm putting the entire TNT cast.
Yeah, they're all going
to shut up and listen to them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, we putting Kenny up there too.
Yeah,
gotta put Kenny.
Someone's gonna be the more serious one. I think Kenny does a good job of bringing that in.
Or like Chuck and Shaq just go off the rails.
Next we have my personal favorite analyst, Mike Greenberg.
That's a take.
I think Greenberg's really good. I think he's not stupid.
I think he's very solid. I have no issues with Mike Greenberg. I don't know if I would say he's the best analyst out of all of these guys.
I say he's my favorite.
I remember listening to Mike and Mike in the morning on the way to football practice with Dad.
Yeah,
oh my God. I was barely awake. Just listening to Greenberg say something stupid.
Where would you put it, Robbie?
I would have him in legitimately qualified. I do think he's very good, but I'm not sure that anytime he's on TV, I'm going to shut up and listen.
Yeah. Jalen Rose.
Put him.
He dropped 81 on his ass.
Put him in there.
Jalen Rose did not have a solid NBA career just to be a meme about Kobe dropping 81 on his head anytime his name gets.
But he actually is not I don't really like him on as an analyst either.
I agree. I don't think he's very good at his job.
Was that tier targeted? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I care? No.
Does he deserve it?
Yes.
Chris Webber is much more superior in terms of the Fab Five of the commentators. He's actually a very good color commentator, but that's a different.
Next we have Joy Taylor, who is Colin Coward's co-host on the current show that he's on.
I don't think I don't know.
I don't watch Cowherd's show because he's ass.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard her talk before in my life.
Put her above him. Don't love, don't hate, because I don't know.
Next we have an all-time favorite, Lee Corso.
Even though he doesn't know what he's saying half the time anymore, I'm still putting him in Shut Up and Listen. He's still going in the top tier. I don't care. I'm still going to listen to him.
The man said on live TV, fuck it, and threw the Sooner head or whatever.
No, it was a Houston Cougars head.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was Houston and SMU.
That's right.
It was some random game. You just said, fucking throws it. It's all-time TV moment in sports. I still watch that video and die.
Dude, every year I'm watching game day. I'm like, oh, I gotta see that video again. And you see Herb Street shit himself. Next to
Desmond Howard. Desmond Howard was like almost out of his chair.
Oh my lord!
It's a top 5 like sports video, and there's not even a sports going on.
I will be very sad when Lee Corso retires, but I really hope they do it soon because it definitely feels like it's coming to the point now where I think he needs to like step away. I mean, I guess they've only had him on like part of the time lately, anyways, because he hadn't been traveling for COVID, everything like that. But no, it'll be a sad day when he retires, but I'm hoping that day comes soon.
Yep.
Yeah. He seems like the confused grandpa on the set now.
Yeah.
And it's like the guys just like, kind of agree with him. And like he is funny when he does like the not so fast whenever he has the guest pickers and what. Like he seems to really enjoy that, but some of like the like deeper analysis that Herb Street usually goes into, like Corso, it's like
But Herb Street does such a good job of like taking what he does say and like using it and like making it like seamlessly putting it into the show so it doesn't feel weird. Like Herb Street does a great job of doing that.
It's walking the grandpa that doesn't know what's all going on through everything. But yes, 100%.
I legitimately forgot the name of this next guy.
Matthew Berry.
Thank you. Good lord.
Oh, is that Matthew Berry? I thought it was Rich Eisen.
No,
it's 100% Matthew Berry.
Matthew Berry, yeah.
That is, you're right. You're right.
What do we think of Matthew Berry?
His fantasy football takes are kind of ass for someone who like does it for a living.
Damn. He's also really full of himself. Like he thinks that he knows everything.
He thinks he's the fantasy football god, and because of that, I don't love him.
Kobe dropped 81, right?
But I don't hate him.
Matthew Berry?
I think Barry's above head scratching because that's where I have Cowherd.
Yeah, I think I would agree. He's better than Coward, but yeah, I'd say don't love, don't hate. I probably actually do hate him a little bit, but
it's just
not enough to put him with Colin Coward.
Slight hate.
Yeah. Next we have a Max Kellerman. I used to like him. I can't stand him now.
I can't stand him anymore.
This is such a hard one because I used to like Max.
I can't stand him.
His boxing analysis is always great. He's really good if you listen to him still now. Like if he's talking about boxing, he's very knowledgeable and like actually like uses.
He enjoys. You can tell he enjoys the sport of boxing.
Yeah, but he spent too much time with Stephen A. and that whole crowd. That now all he does is like say shit for headlines.
Yep.
Because he saw how popular it makes those dudes.
And because ESPN probably tells him to, because all they care about is getting those clicks. And whenever he says something stupid and they put up an article about it, it's going to get a lot of clicks on it.
Yeah.
Yep. I put him in the tier with Coward. Head scratching takes the same.
Unfortunately, because probably
he used to be legitimately qualified.
Yeah. And 5 years ago, I would have him in legitimately qualified.
Yeah, I agree. Rachel Nichols.
I put her close to Berg. I don't know. I'd say maybe at like the top of Don't Love, Don't Hate.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Too much of an opinion about her.
I think. I agree. I think Berg's a tier above her probably at this point. So yeah, we can put her there. Richard Jefferson, a new addition. he
needs to be up at the top with Reggie Miller. They're both really good.
Yes, they are.
For the NBA. They're like Romo for the NFL.
Did you ever listen to Richard Jefferson's podcast that he did with one other Cavs player? He used to have a podcast. It was two of the older Cavs players.
I thought it was like Dellavedova or something.
I can't remember who it was, but their podcast was always awesome too. Like it just really good insight. Like
he's hysterical,
bro. Him on TikTok is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like it's
because he'll stitch himself with like racist, like kind of pseudo racist TikToks. Funny. He's like what? He's like, I'm gonna give you a pass on this one, but we will be keeping an eye on you.
Next we got Shannon Sharp. He's all right. He's don't love, don't hate to me.
I don't
yeah,
hate him.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's not like outrageous.
He tries to keep Skip in line, which is a lot. That's a big job.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Next we have Skip Bayless.
I think he goes in the Skip Bayless take.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
He's such a dumbass.
He's a bum.
I like the only people in the Skip Bayless tier is Skip and Schefter. That's
because Schefter's not an analyst. But at least Woj is not going to Skip Bayless take, even though he's not an analyst. He's at least going and legitimately qualified.
No, Woj is the top.
Yes. Yeah. I would say legitimately qualified.
Stephen A. Smith.
Skip Bayless. He's the same boat.
He's Skip Bayless, but still on
really?
Like that's the
Skip. Listening to Skip and Stephen A. ever discuss something is like watching my last two brain cells have an argument at a bar when I'm hammered.
First take when they were together was so good though. Like it was just like absolutely insane to watch them talk about stuff. Like, what this is like? I don't even know what you guys are saying anymore. It doesn't even make any more sense.
Yeah, it would sound like Robbie and I again having like a drunken conversation.
Yeah, it'd be like me and Ryan like 8 beers deep at the bar arguing about sports. But like we also like somehow lost brain cells while doing like we hit our head against a wall 5 times and then did it. That was like Skip and Stephen A. on First Take.
Bro, I'd put him in Kobe dropped 81 on you, but I guess we can we can put him in Skip.
Well, but Kobe didn't drop 81 on him. So
yeah, you're right.
And the whole Skip Bayless thing about him playing basketball and the pictures of him in high school, like hardly ever playing, averaging 1.4 points per game, fucking kill me. Anytime he tweets something, there's always his team picture and him like, is this you averaging 1.4 points?
Yeah, then his stats,
Next we got Taylor Rooks, who's more, I would say, more famous for her interview. She's a very, very good interviewer.
Very good interviewer.
In terms of it, what do we think in terms of an analyst?
I put her in like you're qualified. Like as like we talked about, her interviews are great. Like she definitely like to do those interviews, you have to know what you're talking about, and you have to like be involved in the sports and stuff, and like know what's going on. So I would put her.
Yeah, I agree.
Why do I keep forgetting? Who is this dude? Why did I just forget his name?
That's Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah,
very disrespectful.
Sorry, good lord.
He is quickly going down the Corso route.
He is.
And he is head-scratching takes, to say the least.
Yes. I had the same thought. Even when he was like fully there, like some of his takes were still head-scratching.
He's above Coward, though.
Yeah, he's at the top.
Sure.
Yeah.
And next we have the final one, Woj.
Adrian Wojnarowski?
Something like that.
I would also put him in qualified.
Bro, I'd put him at the top. Like nobody pays attention to him. Like in terms of his like Twitter, like there's nobody in the world that you believe 100% more than Woj whenever he tweets something.
Shams has been there. Shams is usually pretty spot on too. But that's the thing about both Woj and Shams. They don't report something until they know that it's right.
Yeah.
Unlike Shefty.
Yeah.
Head ass.
They don't report it until they know it's right. And like it's always interesting to see who gets the the first drop on the news, because it's always Shams or Woj.
All right. So we'll put him in legitimate qualified. So now, as tradition, we have to rank the tier with the most in it. The tier with the most in it is "Will Always Shut Up and Listen to Them." Currently, we have the entirety of the TNT crew, Corso and Richard Jefferson. So we have to rank. We have to rank the TNT crew and Corso and Richard Jefferson.
Corso's just up there because I want to hear if he swears again or if he says something that I physically can't understand because it's not English.
So
he had a stroke on set.
They need to do a special this year on College Game Day where it's Corso and Joe Biden talking football.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Someone come get their grandpas.
There would be like 5 English words spoken the entire time.
And the fact that you just equated the two just told me that just tells everyone that Biden's way too old to be in office. But that's a political discussion. That's a different discussion.
All right, so we put Corso at the top, and then what do we got for RJ and the TNT crew?
Chuck's after Corso. I love Chuck.
Chuck, Shaq. I honestly might put Ernie because Ernie says some really quick things.
Yeah, he is very witty.
Chuck, Shaq, Ernie.
And that
Chuck, Shaq, Ernie.
I think Kenny goes to the bottom. Yeah, I think Kenny goes to the bottom.
Yeah, I'd put Richard Jefferson over Kenny.
It's just those other 5 are just like. Kenny is a great analyst. They're just like funnier. They're just funnier than Kenny is.
100%.
But yeah, I mean there we go. That we did our tier list for the week. And we are done, gentlemen. Is there anything else you guys would like to say? Do you guys want to plug anything?
Want to plug anything?
I don't know.
I don't live a very
Connor,
interesting life.
Yeah, we don't do stuff outside of this podcast.
I was just like, I don't know.
I have to go to work every day. It's terrible.
I will shout out that tomorrow's my first day of my first job post graduated.
There he is,
working for GE Aviation. Very exciting stuff.
He's finally done with college. It only took him 6 years.
Finally done. Moved into my apartment in Auburn, and we'll be here for the next 13 months. But yeah, looking forward to the next chapter of life. But still getting this podcast in at least once a week.
Yeah, at least.
I have less than a month left in the state of Indiana, so that's
super exciting.
That's a huge win, guys.
The biggest negative about you moving back to Atlanta is number one. There's two things. Number one, paying rent, and number two, sports betting. You're gonna have to do it like offshores, unless you do it through like Spencer or like Kyle.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a bookie. That's what we're gonna.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But yeah, excited to get back down south. For those of you that's never been to the state of Indiana, picture Indiana in your mind like what you would think it would be like.
Yeah,
it's exactly like that. Like exactly what you're thinking. That's it.
Yeah.
So nothing's wrong with the state. Indianapolis is really nice, but
you want to know why they call it the Midwest?
Why they call it the Midwest, Ryan?
Because everything in it is mid,
except the cheese curd.
Your Cincinnati Reds.
Oh my God. Skyline Chili.
Skyline Chili. Hysterically mid.
No, Skyline might be worse than mid. Skyline is not very good.
Dude, hot and fresh Skyline is a perfectly balanced mid meal.
It's not chili. It's
never
meat
hot and
sauce.
fresh. Yeah, it really is.
But also, it's not chili, dude. It's just not.
All right.
It's a conversation for another time because we're running on probably an hour and a half of this podcast. Thank you guys for listening and watching, whether it be on YouTube, Spotify, and any other place. But this is for the Bros and the Berg. For Ryan, Robbie, Connor, we will see you guys on the next one.
Please gamble responsibly.